I'm attorney Justin Clark. Coming up just ahead on You Have Real Estate, special show here from Three Odd Guys Brewing in downtown Apopka. It's going to be amazing. We're going to talk about the hottest real estate market in the history of Central Florida. It's just ahead. It's You Have Real Estate. If you've been threatened by the IRS, you're not helpless. I'm attorney Justin Clark. You have the power to fight wage garnishments and to fight levies on your account. Call me now for a free consultation or visit youhavepower.com and take back control of your life.
This is a special offer from IQ Power Solar.
Stop paying high electric bills with a solar power system from IQ Power Solar. And now it's never been easier. IQ Power Solar can give you immediate electric bill relief right now when you go solar. IQ Power Solar will reimburse you for your very next electric bill. Plus, if you're a first responder, IQ Power Solar will pay your program payment for the rest of the year. Call 407-585-1018 now or visit iqpowersolar.com.
Welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, a renter, or even looking to sell your home, this next 30 minutes is designed just for you. Think of it like hitting multiple open houses, all from your living room, but with my attorney advice throughout the way. Any questions whatsoever during the program, people are standing by right now. Call the phone number on your screen, 407-205-0400. Any questions whatsoever, I want you to call right away. It's going to be an amazing next half hour for you, but first it's time for my opening statement. The opening statement today is brought to you by my good friends at IQ Power Solar. You know Stephen Bader, the COO. Not only are they a great sponsor, they installed solar on my house throughout the summer. Last year, my electric bill was $500 a month. This year, $50 a month. I love everything about going solar, and also the end of the year is approaching. I saved $10,000 on my tax return last year, all because I went solar. Call Steve right now at 407-205-0400. IQ Power Solar, the only people to call when it comes to solar energy. Special show, as you can tell today, we're on location at our good friends brewery, Three Odd Guys Brewing. We feel like we kind of own the place in some ways because let's say we built the place with them in many ways, but we're so happy. We dreamed about finally being able to do this show here live at the brewery. We're right here in downtown Apopka. It's the best brewery in all of town, no question about it. Please come check out Three Odd Guys Brewing at your next available opportunity. And we're here for a very special reason, though, because I have a major announcement to make. The announcement is that Florida, mid-pandemic, has officially hit the hottest real estate market in history. You heard that right. This market in Florida, especially Central Florida, has never ever been hotter than this. And why? We're going to bring a bunch of real estate agents on today to figure out why in the world, mid-pandemic, this market is so incredibly hot. The reasons I think, and we're going to ask them, but here is what I think is happening right now. Number one, the interest rates at historic lows. You know that. People are fleeing New York City. They're fleeing the big cities and heading to Florida, where, by the way, our real estate market here, if you look nationally, is still relatively inexpensive. Our property taxes, inexpensive. And also, at the end of the day, Florida is Florida. We have the weather. We have the beaches. Everyone's coming here, creating the hottest, mark my words, the hottest market we have ever had here, real estate-wise. We're going to tell you all about that. But first, it's time for real questions. Every Saturday here on You Have Real Estate, I ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. I have several people joining me today, but we're going to start with two of the ones that are closest to me. It's Dallas Lehman. Well, you have mortgage, Vivian Lehman. You have realty. Guys, what's going on? How are you?
I'm amazing.
So first
I'm
of all,
so happy to be
75th episode. Can you believe it?
Great to be here.
Unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Vivian, let me start with you.
Yes.
You're a real estate agent. You're a broker down in the trenches. How in the world are we mid-pandemic and we've hit the hottest market, at least in our lifetime?
Well,
How does this happen?
I think you said it. It's the trifecta. You've got people moving here in droves. You've got a low interest rate, and then you have our inventory's low. So that's what's keeping our value up. I mean, that's the biggest thing.
How long can we stay this hot? Are we going to have a collapse in 2 months?
I hope not.
What do you think? I mean, how long is this market going to stay as strong as, and when I say hot, I mean, it's very hot for the seller. As a buyer, it's a little bit difficult right now to find a good deal. But that being said, even if you're a buyer that is renting right now, when you look at the interest rates, even if you're paying a little bit more than you would like for that house, with the interest rates at 2.8, 2.7, guys, that's free money. As I always say, if your investment advisor was getting you that kind of rate, you would fire him instantly. Isn't that right?
No, absolutely. And your payment is probably might even be the same, even though you're getting more of a house because the interest rate is so low.
Exactly.
And to answer your question, I think we're going to see this go through the rest of the spring into summer. That's our busiest selling season. And if we continue, and you're going to see a little bit more inventory on the market, which will really help us, and we can sell those homes.
Dallas Lehman, mortgage guy here, of course. Mortgage guy, what, 20-something years, I believe now.
Absolutely.
Have you ever seen anything like this on the mortgage side? Did you ever think we'd be talking here together about rates in the twos?
Personally, no. I think, in my opinion, this is going to continue for quite some time. But the bottom line is, as you've touched on, rates have never been this low. I was in a meeting yesterday. We sort of did a little forecasting, and we expect them to stay low into the next year. The Fed spoke 3 weeks ago, and when they spoke, they said they're committed to keeping the rates low. Now, that's a relative term. As we know, on a 30-year fixed, on an average, we're talking anywhere from 2.75 to 3%. Next year, that could be, and I would honestly think we could be at around 4.5%. But that's still a very low rate. So the bottom line is, what's fueling this major thing through the pandemic is the low interest rates and the fact that the homes are still appreciating. So really, if speaking to the audience out there today, what I would tell them is, if you haven't taken an opportunity to review your interest rate, to see where you could refinance or to buy that first home, now really is the time to do that.
And rates are low, we all know that, but we also lived back in 2010 when it was very hard to get a mortgage. How difficult is it right now during this pandemic to qualify for a mortgage?
Great question. Things have tightened up a little bit on some of the programs that are offered, but to be honest with you, if you are a borrower, now is still the time. They are still doing every loan out there with the conforming FHA, VA, USDA. All those loan programs are still there. Those are the bread and butter loan programs. So again, thriving. So it's a good time.
How has COVID affected my ability to qualify for a mortgage?
Just to give you an example, I think one thing that they've added a few layers there as far as making it a little more tedious to do the loan. One of the biggest things is what we do is called a VOE, or a verification of employment. Usually when you do that, it's at the beginning of the loan. They say, okay, they check to make sure that person is still employed. One little example of how that's changed is they are now doing a VOE, verification of employment, also at the end of the loan, which could be 2 days before closing. And they're just going to reach out. The lender's going to reach out and say, are they still there? Do they still have their job? And this is a result of COVID and obviously the furloughs and some of the things that are happening. But the bottom line is, now is the best time, it still is, to get these historic low rates, and those programs are still strong.
Vivian, back to you for a moment. So we know the market's really hot, a great time for a seller to sell, but I imagine if you're selling a house that you're living in, you have to live somewhere. How does someone take advantage of, we want to sell here when it's hot, but then we also need a place to live?
When you mean take advantage, you're saying, can I do both at the same time?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I want to sell. This market's crazy. I want to sell right now, but then I still need to live somewhere. What do I do?
Well, I mean, if you have to take into account that, yes, you might have to move into another home, but at the same time, you could even rent for a little bit to find that dream home. You don't have to go directly into it.
I totally agree with that, and I've seen a lot of people do this saying, you know, we've seen this before. We've seen 2006 when the market was way up here, and we sold then, but knowing it was going to go down. Is it going to go down? I don't know. Is it going to correct itself, the market? Probably some. When? Maybe mid to late next year. But there's nothing wrong with, at one point in time, selling and maybe renting for a year and waiting on the market to fix itself. Or with the rates where they are now, if you're looking to upsize or downsize, why not sell the house that you have right now in the middle, maximize value, and still get a great deal interest rate-wise right now by buying? So there's nothing wrong with that at all. Any parts of town that you think I can still get a deal? I mean, we're sitting here in Apopka right now. I'm hearing great things about Apopka.
I was just going to say Apopka.
Yeah.
You know, the average sales, which is awesome, like you said, for real estate, the average home right now is like $310,000, which is great. I don't think we've ever seen that in Central Florida. You know, and like you said, it's crazy to think that in the middle of the pandemic we're doing that.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Vivian Lehman, you have Realty. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
75
much.
episodes together, too.
Yes.
Pretty crazy, huh?
Excited,
Dallas
yes.
Lehman, you have Mortgage. Great job today, buddy.
Always a pleasure,
if,
sir.
If you have questions for them, they're going to be standing by right after the show at 407-205-0400. Vivian will answer any question that you have about real estate. Dallas will answer any question that you have about mortgages, and we're going to take a very quick break. We're coming to you right now from Three Odd Guys Brewing here in downtown Apopka. Beautiful downtown, by the way. If you haven't been to Apopka lately, it's really changing. This downtown is becoming cool. I don't know a better word to say it, and there's no cooler brewery in all of Central Florida than Three Odd Guys. We're going to be right back with two more agents who have some interesting news about why this might be the hottest time in real estate in Central Florida. Live here on site with the COO of IQ Power Solar, Stephen Bader. I already had solar installed on my house. I wanted to see his crew in action against Steve. You must admit, this is the most talented crew in all of solar.
I'm pretty happy with it.
The guys are doing a great job up there, obviously, professional. I mean, solar can have some people and some businesses that aren't so good. What separates IQ Power Solar?
Well, it's really valuable to have your own install crew instead of subcontractors, etc. So these guys work together year after year. They've done a lot of trainings together. Every time there's a new product that comes to market, they go to manufacturer trainings. We're actually a warranty center for a lot of manufacturers, which is really cool, and it distinguishes us, especially when it comes to servicing. But really, it's just about cohesiveness. You know, these guys, they get here in the morning, they review the engineer drawings together. Sometimes they review the drawings in the office on a chalkboard environment when there's problems and stuff like that. But they lay it out and then just execute. So it's really cool when they have a lot of experience together, just like anything else.
There's something to be said for one truck, two trucks, three trucks, all with the logo on there. Everyone has the same shirt, IQ Power Solar. I mean, this is a real professional organization.
We try.
And Stephen Bader, IQ Power Solar, thanks for coming out today.
Of course.
And welcome back to a very special episode of You Have Real Estate, celebrating three major things. First of all, the grand opening of Three Odd Guys Brewing. Our great friend Phil Deems here in downtown Apopka, the best brewery in all of Central Florida, no doubt about it. Number two, our 75th episode here with you every Saturday on You Have Real Estate. And number three, we're celebrating what I'm calling the hottest real estate market in Central Florida's history. That is right now. Believe it or not, mid-pandemic, we are in the hottest market that we've ever seen. Very pleased to welcome two agents to the show now, Farah Nova and Jennifer Allen. Hi guys, how are you?
Hi.
Farah, let me start with you. We worked together a lot in 2005, 2006, the last peak that we had. How would you compare the market now to 2005? I say 2006. We fought about it before the show a little bit. You say it was 2005. Sometime 2005-06 was the peak before this. How would you compare this market to that one?
This market seems more real. Back in 2005 and 6, everybody was coming from up north to buy the property and flip it and make $100,000. There were so many lands available to be built. Right now, it is mostly people coming to Orlando to live and purchase the property to stay in Orlando rather than doing investment.
And what I think the difference also is mortgage companies are not just giving away money like they did in 2005. In 2005, you could be waiting tables and buy $1 million house. I say you had to have a pulse and a pen, you get a mortgage. It's not like that anymore, is it, Farah?
No, it's not correct. At that time, it seems like they were giving mortgage to anybody who was asking for $700,000-$800,000, was making maybe $30,000 a year. But now the mortgage companies are looking truly through your credit score and your background, and every way that they can support the mortgage can be paid.
Totally agree. And you don't have to believe me, by the way. I'll bring Jen Allen in here now as well. Jen, what are you seeing down in the trenches? You're a working agent. You're there listing houses. You're working with buyers. What are you actually seeing down in the trenches right now?
You know, believe it or not, yes. I mean, Farah, you are completely correct on that. But believe it or not, even millennials. Like, you're looking at 28, 30-year-old, 35-year-old olds that are able to buy houses now. I mean, the houses that I've sold, they're getting 2.8%, 2.9%. I mean, the market is so good right now. Yes, of course, we don't have a lot of inventory, but it's going it will happen.
What sort of time frame are you seeing houses stay on the market right now? Once you list a house, how long before you see an offer come in?
So as long as you've priced it properly, I would say you can get into a bidding war. I mean, I think if you've priced properties properly, you can have multiple offers on it and end up selling it for more than what you've had it listed at.
So sellers can be a little bit choosy right now too, I guess,
Yeah.
because of the market. What if I'm a seller, what am I looking for in an offer? Do I want someone who is paying cash or not FHA? Are there certain things that separate one offer from the next?
I mean, well, if you're paying cash, that's a completely different story. Obviously, that's
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
But, I mean, listen, FHA loans, it's like Dallas was talking about earlier, that sometimes it is a little bit harder to get certain things, but with the interest rates being so low, it's so doable right now.
What about you, Farrah? When you're working with a listing, well, it separates one buyer from the next. What are you looking for there?
We definitely look for a buyer that paying at least put more higher down payment versus if we have a multiple offers. We look for the buyers either cash or putting more down payment, and we make sure that they are qualified to purchase the house at the end. We did work with the veterans with 0%, but absolutely very qualified buyer.
Your next dream home, you could buy a house anywhere in Central Florida. Where would it be?
Winter Park.
Winter Park.
Absolutely.
You love that Winter Park, don't you?
I am a Winter Park.
I love it. Jennifer Allen, same question. Dream house anywhere in Central Florida, where would it be?
I would say Lake Mary, Winter Park. I love Winter Park.
Yeah.
I do, but I love Lake Mary as well.
Everybody
That's-
loves Winter Park.
Something about Lake Mary, though, too. I'm a little partial, I would say, but Lake Mary's not so bad either.
Yeah.
If you have any questions for these ladies, if you don't believe me that we're at this peak of the real estate market, I will connect you right now with Jen or Farrah at 407-205-0400. Thank you guys so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thanks for coming to see us.
I did better.
You did
Thanks.
great. I thought you were awesome. And we'll be right back from Three Odd Guys Brewery here in Apopka after this very short break.
Just in case you haven't heard lately, mortgage rates are at historic lows. In my entire career, I have never seen them dip this low. Now may be your best time to own your dream home and stop throwing your hard-earned money away on rent, refinance to a lower rate to save money on your monthly mortgage payment, or pay off high-interest credit card and other debt. My name is Dallas Lehman, president of You Have Mortgage. No one knows when rates will begin to climb again, but they will and can go back up quickly. Call me today so we can tailor your historic rate and program. Our premier Under One Roof team is here to provide our very best for you.
Welcome back to Three Odd Guys Brewing here in Apopka, celebrating the 75th episode, celebrating the peak of the real estate market in Central Florida. Two awesome agents join me now. Eric Mock is here to my right, to your left, and Rob Keeler joins me on my left, your right. Another special celebration today, by the way. Eric, buddy, congratulations. Eric closed his first deal as a real estate agent this morning. Is that right?
That is correct.
That is
This
awesome,
morning.
brother. Now,
10
you
o'clock.
were a professional career guy for many, many years, and then one day you said, you know what, I'm going to put this past life behind me and become a real estate agent. How did that happen?
You know, I had an opportunity. I've known Vivian for many years, actually went to college with her and contacted her and did a little bit of due diligence, so to speak, and looked at that after my years in career in healthcare. And I said, you know, there's something else that I can do from a professional perspective. And I said, let me jump right into the real estate market. Florida is a great place. You Have Realty is a wonderful organization, and I'm really happy to be there and really happy to make the sale this morning.
Absolutely. I'm very proud of you too. Rob, you focus more on the commercial side of things. And
Right.
all show today I've been talking about how the residential market is so hot. A peak, I believe. What's going on commercial-wise right now? We're mid-pandemic. We know a lot of people working from home. How's that affecting the commercial world?
Well, of course, commercial is always a little bit slower to respond to these types of things, but what we're seeing is primarily the retail sector is probably taking the largest hit, most of that on the tenant side. You got some retail landlords out there that are they've got more vacancy than they thought they would. They've got some tenants out there not paying. It's affecting the investment sales pricing, so eventually, you know, those will become either repurposed spaces or just opportunities in a different way.
I still see a lot of these big commercial buildings. The parking lots are relatively empty still. Do you see that changing, and when?
You know, with commercial, I believe we're probably going to be in the Q2 of next year before you're going to start to see things pick back up and filling up these vacant parking lots, as you say.
Got it. Willie in Claremont, thank you for watching. Willie has a question for Eric, actually. Hey, Justin, thanks for the show. I love watching every Saturday. How hard was it to get your real estate license? I think that's for you, Eric.
You know, it wasn't terribly difficult. There's several schools. You can do it in person. They do the social distancing, or you can do it online, live online version. And depending on, you know, you can do it over weekends, you can do it during the week. But I think it took me 3 weeks to get the coursework done, took the exam, then you apply for the state exam, you get the seating date for the state exam, you take that exam, you pass that, and then you're a licensed real estate agent.
I've had a few arguments with agents over the years about bar exam versus real estate exam, and while I never win that argument, I know I'm right, and it's my show, so I get the last word on that, okay? Was the test hard or no?
I knew 60 to 70% right off the bat, and then I took a little bit extra time to answer the remaining questions, but I felt pretty confident when I walked out.
Good deal. Hey, Rob, let me ask you a question, too, on the commercial side of things. You say it trails a little bit. It trails the residential market. How far behind, typically? So, as an example, let's say that we're at the peak of the residential market now. Mm-hmm. How far behind is commercial typically?
If you go back 30, 40 years, historically, you're going to see anything between 9 months to 18 months trailing. I believe with today's market, where it's going to be a little bit less than that, but I would say on an average, probably 12 months.
Do you think that agents should really focus on residential or commercial, or can an agent do a good job at both?
Depending on the situation with the agent, obviously the sales cycle time for commercial is much longer, sometimes 10, 12 times longer than residential. So I believe a good agent could do a little bit of both, but it's better for the agent, better for the brand to try to specialize in one or the other.
It's very hard. I mean, especially in commercial, you might do 2 or 3 deals a year. I mean, you're waiting the rest of the year to actually close these deals, where in residential, you should be doing hopefully 2 or 3 a month. So it is a whole different world, commercial versus real estate. I think if you're an agent, you can dip your toes a little bit in both, but if you're going to do some intense commercial stuff, you need to have a real passionate commercial agent. That's just the way I feel.
Absolutely.
Rob Keeler, thanks for being here, buddy. I
Thanks,
appreciate it. Eric Mott, congratulations again. Thank you for
Thanks,
being
Jesse.
here. We have
Thanks.
one last quick break, one segment ahead. It's Justin Clark. It's You Have Real Estate.
Do you want to feature your home for free on our show? My name is Vivian Lehman with You Have Realty, and we've come up with a comprehensive marketing strategy to get your home sold quickly. Whether buying or selling, we have all the resources for your real estate transaction: builder, insurance, title, mortgage, and we might even know Justin Clark. All under one roof. Call us at 407-205-0400.
Welcome back to You Have Real Estate, special episode here at 3 Odd Guys Brewing in downtown Apopka. Come see our boy Phil. Please tell him we sent you. You will not want to miss it. This place is awesome. I mean, literally the best brewery I've ever been to, not just in Central Florida, but clearly the best place in Central Florida for all of your beer needs. A lot of TVs too. Great place to watch a game Saturday, Sunday, or during the week. Check them out, please. But today we're talking about the real estate market. I'm saying it's the hottest market we've ever had. Mid-pandemic, we're in the hottest real estate market ever. Who better to ask than Holly Kroll? Hi, Holly. How are you?
Hi, Justin. How's it going?
You can disagree with me if you want, but what's going on in this market right now?
Low interest rates is really getting everybody out there and wanting to buy right now. And of course, like you mentioned earlier in the show, we do have an influx of people coming in, especially from those states where they've been stuck inside for all these months. And you know, here in Florida, we're a little more open. So why not come down here and enjoy the sunshine all year round?
A lot of people have been sending Governor Cuomo a going away present, so to speak, and moving to Florida. Why wouldn't you? Look at the weather. Look at the no state income tax, the property tax. Have you seen the property taxes in New Jersey?
Yeah.
On average, about $10,000 a year, whereas here on average it's like $2,000. and no state income tax, and the weather. Have I mentioned it doesn't get cold here? It's unbelievable. It's really an unbelievable mix of reasons why this market is so incredibly hot. How long are you seeing houses that you're listing staying on the market?
Hours,
Yeah.
days. I mean, if you've got a house that is priced right, you've got multiple offers. It's really been insane. So just something that we've had to adjust to. It's exciting.
Now, you've had to take over a lot of the real estate stuff, I know, in the family, because this guy over here, your husband, J.R. Kroll, is running to be the Seminole County tax collector.
Yes,
J.R., how you doing?
Hey, pretty good.
How was the campaign, man? How's your first campaign working out for you? It's not as easy as you thought, is it?
No, it's a lot more work than I thought. We really have, really been hitting the ground and getting a lot of voters, meeting a lot of voters out there. The meetings are every day. There's some kind of a meeting out there or something, obviously, to do. It's a lot more work than planned, but I'm ready to hit the streets and get out there, keep working for voters.
Less than 3 weeks away, in fact, from Election Day. How can people help? Someone wants to get involved. They want you to be the next tax collector up in Seminole County. What can they do?
Well, you can go to my website at electjrkroll.com. We have information there for either helping out with volunteers. We have for either sign waivers that we're going to need for the election days. That's coming up next week. We start the early voting, so we're going to definitely have people for that. And even if you can't do any of those, even a donation on the site helps also.
Absolutely. What separates you? What makes you the right candidate for that job?
It's going to be business experience and management experience. This office of the tax collector is really a management job. It's managing the services for Seminole County. And you're the boss of that. So at that point, you have to be able to manage, over 100 employees out of 6 offices. And it's just, my opponent doesn't have those qualifications as I do. I've been a manager since I've been 22 years old.
Well, there's no question in my mind. I am a Seminole County voter. I will be checking J.R. Kroll next to tax collector.
Awesome.
No doubt about it. Best of luck to you, buddy. I know it's going to be an odd 3 weeks, I would say, but I know you're up for the challenge. How has it been kind of transitioning into this more of a heavy role in the real estate department in the family?
I've been doing a lot of, we've been working together for 10 years. I would say that my workload is, more than what it was, but, I'm just, ready to support. I'm a loving wife of 23 years, and, I'm here to help him in any way I can and also make money selling real estate as well.
Last question. Who gets more angry when an attack ad comes on the screen or in the mail, you or JR?
I internalize it more. He externalizes it more. So I'm probably equally as angry.
Holly Kroll, thank you so much. J.R. Kroll, good luck in the election. He's your next Seminole County tax collector. And what a great show today. Again, I think it's the peak of the real estate market here in Central Florida. Thank you so much to our good friends at 3 Odd Guys Brewing for coming out, and especially our crew over from WKMG News 6 for coming out here to help put all this together again. And thanks everybody for being here. More importantly, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. But most importantly, thank you for joining me here today. None of this is possible without you. If you have any questions whatsoever, anything about the real estate market, you want to get pre-approved for a mortgage, call that phone number, 407-205-0400. I'm attorney Justin Clark, and I'll see you next week for You Have Real Estate.